All right, here we are getting ready to get started with another roll reveal. Waiting for a few people to show up so we can have a live event with an audience of more than one, but Mickey, you count all the same. Here we are. Got a hand-wrapped roll here of 1968D. The story on this is these all came from a rather large collection in Illinois. And I bought this collection of rolls and found that some of them had come out of circulation. Some of them were solid BU original rolls. So we don't know which one this is. However, as I was going through a few of the rolls as samples, I ran into a 1968D double die reverse. So there's some chance that we could have amazing things come out of this roll, but likelihood isn't high, but there is that possibility. And I'm going to get started. Hello, Dan. Good day. Richard, first up. Richard Sappington. Let me turn my light on. And let's get started. On the obverse, we're generally checking for class 2 separation. Class 2 would be doubling toward the rim. And got nothing there. And on the reverse, the only thing that we know of is the one all-important double die reverse. And there's one that has, I think, doubled initials. And that's all I know of. Got a couple of spots on this one, but otherwise a pretty nice coin. Hey there, Frosty. All right. Let me get on down to coin number 2 for Dr. T. And Mark. It's a normal mint mark. Let me roll it on around here. Very typical thing happens with 1968 Lincoln Cents, especially. That's a year before they changed the overall design to make it a little flatter and a little more like the original 1909 design. And during this particular year date, there are a lot of dies that were created with basically worn-out hub elements. And those worn-out hub elements kind of gave a spread toward the rim. And oftentimes the letters of "In God We Trust" will touch the rim. There's nothing special about this at all. In fact, it's kind of considered less than appropriate or less than attractive by a number of people. So just know that you'll get 1968 Lincoln Cents where the motto at the top is "touching the rim." Nothing to be alarmed about. Don't start looking on websites and in books trying to find listings for it because, well, it's just not there. It's very simple, very well known, and very, very common. Basically, the only things that we're really going to be able to have a whole lot to do with here today are a few of the RPMs are very nice. And, of course, then there's the big double die reverse. And that's pretty much where we're going to stick with what we're searching. We may or may not get anything, who knows. But we're going to give it a shot. We've got this and we've got one more reveal after this one today. And I don't remember what the one more is, or I'd tell you. Where do you go to register Nana Stacks? If you take a look at the email address on the bottom of your screen, you just send me an email at that email address with your YouTube name, your real name, and your email address where I can send a PayPal invoice, and you're registered. That's all there is to it. It's free. And, of course, I don't send you an invoice for anything until you agree to purchase something. It's not like an automatic invoice that I send you. You don't pay a darn thing until you bought it. Once you bought it, then you get your invoice. Typically 48 hours to pay is what I prefer. And that works not only for the reveals, but also for the auctions that I have on select Tuesday nights. It puts you in the alert email list so that when I send out alerts that I've got shows coming up, you will receive an email about them, a reminder. I don't sell anything through emails. I don't hard call emails. I don't do a lot of the things that a lot of annoying people do. I respect your privacy, and I only send 1 or 2 emails per week. And if you decide that you're not into reading them, you are very free to block the send or unsubscribe by sending me an email, or you simply delete the emails as you get them. But I tell you, you're going to miss a lot if you miss out on those emails. This one may take the better part of an hour because I'm going to check all these coins, obverse and reverse. Not going to miss anything in this roll, because I definitely want to see if anybody gets what basically amounts to my favorite double die reverse. So I'm not going to skip anything. Absolutely. Thank you, Nanostacks. And what part of the country is it that you're in? Did you say South Carolina? Is that correct? Hello, Eric. Here but driving. South Carolina. Well, and I did tell you that I operate out of eastern North Carolina. Not very far away. In fact, quite often I'm taking I-95 through South Carolina. It's not an uncommon thing to find me driving through South Carolina. Well, this was one of those big hit or big miss chances, and guess what we did this time? Same as 99.5% of the other times. It's a miss. But you always got to dig to know. You never can just assume. You just assume you'll never find anything. I keep looking for anything I can find on these coins for us to talk about. However, without the double dies and the repunch mint marks, not a whole lot to say about 1968 D-Lincoln cents. And we're not finding what I was hoping we would find. Let's see here. Need to start grabbing some excitement here. Gonna end up falling out of my chair. That's not a pretty coin. Not a pretty coin at all. Doesn't happen to have anything on it either. There's one for Mickey. Let's see what we get here from Mickey. Nothing on the obverse. Nothing there. Let's see what we have on the reverse. Later die state example, but visible nonetheless, whatever we see. And got nothing on that one. Well, that's number 14. Coins of Ghouls up next. Not turning up. It's number 16 and 17. Let me peel 17 back away. This was an express roll. It was going to be a roll that was done off camera. But I decided to squash that idea and not stay with it. So anybody who's here expecting to have not seen this roll published is hearing this for the first time. I'll let you know that I've decided not to do the express reveals because they are a lot more trouble than I thought they would be. A lot more difficult to process through. I thought they would save time, but they don't. So here we are. Let's see. And I've got nothing so far in this roll. Nothing at all. But Frosty's right about that. All we have to do is find one really good coin. Saves the day, right? How am I doing today? Well, under control. Let's put it that way. Feeling okay. A little bit tired for some reason, oddly enough. But for today, as far as lives are concerned, I've got this to do, and then one more reveal for today. Then I've got the second half of the last 2 weeks of mail to take to the post office. Then I can rest. Got up this morning kind of in a fit to get things done, and I wore myself out. So besides being a little bit on the worn out side, I'm feeling fine. Yeah, the radio guy voice. They say I have a perfect face for radio and a voice to match. Well, back at a time when I lived in Missouri, I lived in Springfield, Missouri, and I used to listen to the morning show every morning on a station called the Alice 95.5, and I'm guessing 95.5 still exists and is probably still a pop song station. But I'm pretty sure the people who did the show there are no longer there. But I always enjoyed the dream, the idea that one of these days I might be able to join the channel and do, I don't know, the morning news or something, the weather forecast or something like that. And just never made it. Never even called them. Too embarrassed. And I figured they would say, "You do radio? Really? What makes you think that? You're not even funny." Well, yeah, I'm not, but I can certainly take a cue. But yeah, I remember at one point in time, we had the call sign, call letter type thing that they do on the radio between the news and your next song on the radio. It would say, "The Alice, 95.5 FM Springfield." Or they would say something like, "For the best rock hits of the 80s, 90s, and now, The Alice, 95.5 FM Springfield." And I would, I'd practice that, think about it. Love to be the guy that does that. Of course, it was with a louder, more excitable sounding voice than what I've got going on here right now. I'm just kind of calm, just enjoying my coins, going through, looking at a roll. And all these guys getting these coins hopefully get lucky enough to come out with something great. And I get to be the first person to touch it. Swing. Speak of getting to touch it. Touching coins is a very important topic to discuss once in a while. You guys see that I just have my own two bare hands here. My little bare fingers touching the coins. Now I want you to know that prior to every show, I wash my hands very well with warm water and antibacterial soap, and I let them dry completely prior to touching any coins. Now this doesn't 100% remove any of the oils, skin oils, or anything else that you happen to have on your hands, but it will get it 99.9% clean. And so I'm kind of in a place where I preach one thing and do something that appears to be different, because I tell you guys not to be fiddling with your coins with your fingers, because, well, old Larry enjoyed doing that to some of the coins I've opened in the past, and I got big giant fingerprints on them. Well, what happens in that case most of the time is the person who opens the roll of coins or puts the coins in the roll didn't wash their hands, didn't wash their fingers, and probably had all kinds of greases and oils and all other sorts of stuff on their fingers. And that caused a problem for the coins. But when you've got your hands as sandpapery dry, as I do, you don't have any issues with things spreading to the coins. So I just recommend that you either wear gloves if you're not going to very, very cleanly wash your hands, or spend about 5-10 minutes prior to going through your rolls for the day, washing your hands. And if you're going through circulated material that's going to have dirt on it, dirt and grime and stuff, look at your hands every few minutes. And if they start to turn color, they start to turn green or brown based on what contaminants are on the coin, go wash them. Doesn't hurt anybody. The other part about that, about the washing the hands, is frequent hand washing is something that's recommended, especially during flu season, and it will not necessarily prevent you from catching the flu or COVID or any of the other viruses going around, norovirus or any of those others. But what it will do is it will assist you in not spreading germs like that to your face. Because we are a creature who likes to stick our hands in our face and stick our fingers in our mouth and in our nose or wherever else, and you end up with a case of something that you've caught with your hands. And your hands go straight into your mouth. And that's not a good thing. Not a good thing at all. Now, if you have naturally clammy or sweaty hands, or you've got issues with being able to keep your hands as clean as you possibly can, perhaps you're allergic to soaps or something like that, then you wear gloves. I recommend the gloves. But generally, I will tell people wearing gloves only takes your hand a little bit further away from the coins. So you've got your hands a half a millimeter away from the coins through the cloth of a glove. You can't feel the coin as easily as you can with bare hands. And I don't use gloves for that reason. I tend to fumble around with coins when I've got gloves on, especially gloves that don't fit extremely tightly. So, some people wear latex neoprene rubber gloves, and that's all fine for them, but I can't do that. I tend to have too many issues with the powders and stuff they put in those. So I just don't wear them. And I don't wear a mask. I don't wear filters. I just wash my hands and I'm good to go. So that's one kind of sort of thing. Another thing is, when it comes time to store your coins, you definitely want to make sure that your hands are as clean as they possibly can be right before you put your coins into storage. You think your hands are clean, but they're not. Just go wash your hands. Wash them really well with soap. Make sure that soap lathers up. That's part of how soap carries germs away from your hands, is that it lathers up and bubbles up, and it carries those germs up into the bubbles. And you're washing those bubbles off of your hands with water. That is much more efficient than most other forms of hand washing. And if you use one little tiny dollop of soap and it doesn't really lather up well, then you're not using enough soap. Remember also to wash the backs of your hands. It's not just the fronts of your hands that capture germs and stuff. Of course, that is where you grip things, but you're touching stuff with the backs of your hands all the time. So make sure you're washing the backs of your hands as well. And you do that, if you watch the little camera down here, do that by going like this and washing into the backs of your fingers. Hands and hands, and then you wash the backs of your hands. I know you're not touching coins with the backs of your hands, but it is important. It's very important. It's like washing your hair and only washing half of your hair. Filter? I'm talking about like an N95 mask or anything like that. There are people who kind of go way over the top, and they wear a mask when they're looking through coins, not just a cloth mask or one of those masks that'll keep you from spittling on your coins, but they're also wearing filters so that they don't breathe anything onto the coins, because the coins are so important. Think about it this way. A lot of the coins that you are the current curator of have been through a lot before they found you. Yes, preserve what you can, but don't go overboard and, start choking yourself off from air trying to keep your coins clean, or washing your hands 70 times a day because, they got dirty again because you touched a coin. Just, it's a matter of, I guess you would call it common sense, but I don't know that it's really common. The way it seems that we have these outbreaks of flu and other viruses and things like that every year, and they spread quickly and to a lot of people. You'd have to think that a lot of these people just aren't taking proper precautions. And proper precautions isn't putting on an N95 mask to go to the grocery store. Proper precautions is just washing your hands. Wash your hands. Sneeze into your to the pit of your elbow, to the inside of your elbow. That's how you cover your cough or your sneeze. There's just basic things. And typically a lot of people come up to me when I say something like that, and they say, "What do you think I am, a first grader?" I'm like, well, no. But there are a vast majority of adults these days didn't learn that sort of thing when they were a first grader, so it's time for them to learn now. Malcolm? Malcolm's here? Hello, Malcolm. Oh, it's my friend. I've been wondering where you went to. I thought maybe you had already moved and just forgot how to get on the internet. So you moving to Ohio? Is that what you're doing? I think I remember you saying that at one point in time, that you were moving to Ohio. Well, there is Dr. Thomas. Hello, Mark. Glad to see you here. This roll was a paper wrap roll that came from a large collection full of rolls. And when I first got the collection, I had like 150 rolls of 1968D. And I picked, 4 or 5 rolls. And sat in my chair one weekend going through those rolls because 68 is my birth year. So I enjoy getting coins from 1968 that are interesting and different. And going through these 5 rolls of 1968 Lincoln Cents, I ran across an FS 801 double die reverse. Sorry. FS 801 double die reverse, the really big double die reverse. And it was in the same family of rolls. So I decided, without going through these first, you never know, but I am going to take a chance and sell a roll of 1968D and hope somebody here gets the same luck I had with one of these 1968D rolls. So here we go. That's what we're doing today, just to catch you up. If anybody's not been to the YouTube channel recently and just looked around, when you go to the homepage of the channel, which is at youtube.com/c/coppercoins, you go to that homepage, you scroll way down, you see shorts. We have a bunch of video shorts copied and posted, and we're doing them at the average of 2 to 3 per day. Not going overboard, but we're doing 2 or 3 of them per day. And we, being myself and Eric Maith, and we have a list of hundreds of shorts to make. So stay tuned. They are coming right up. More letters blending in with the rim up there. Very, very normal thing for 1968. You see how close Lincoln is to the rim? Very unusually close. That's just what happened. Basically, the entire die started wearing out and spreading out and distending. Or distorting, actually. Mr. Petillo. We're going to move right along after we get done with this to our final roll of the day. I have a large truckload of mail to get to the post office. Anyone whom I owe, they're getting that mail shipped either yesterday or either Saturday or today. DC, you're on the list that goes today. Frosty, you're on the list that goes today. Alex Warbe is going to go out today. Mark Thomas, yours also goes out today. I think, Alex, yours might have gone on Saturday. But let's see, names that I can remember that are going out today. Let's see. Doug Rizak, Dan McCumber, David Corder, let's see, whom else do I have? Copper Owl Coins, yours is going out today. Archie Worley, yours is going out today. Mickey, yours is here at the house waiting on you. Somehow you've managed to not swear in a short. Dude, we need to talk soon. Managed to get away without swearing through 20 minutes of audio. Yeah, I've got to try to rescue you from yourself here. You have one arriving from me tomorrow. That was probably one I sent earlier in the week. I do believe I have another one here for you today that's going out this afternoon. Mark, I created postage twice for you, so you're going to have a printed yet not available mail label that I'll use next time. This is eject doubling right here. This is what happens when the coin gets stuck in the die when it's ejected. The die scoops the coin across. Let me get this lit better so that we can see exactly what I'm referring to here. Get the light brighter. Okay. Now, what you see at the upper part of your screen, this right here, is the lower step of this doubling. And then here, see how you've got this little mark going across? That's actually a flange of metal sticking straight up. This right here, this right down here, and this over here. It's a ridge of metal caused when the coin finally peeled itself away from the die. It scraped up all that metal and left it sitting right up here on the rim of the letter. And you see how the letter is actually thinner now than it should be? And then you've got your doubling. Definitely machine doubling. Another thing that'll tell you definitely machine doubling every single time, your doubling is nice and strong right here, but down here it tapers off to nothing, and by the time you get to the corner of the letter, you got nothing. Completely normal. No notching, no doubling, no nothing. That's another very clear sign of machine doubling. Machine doubling tapers down to an end before you get to the corner. Well, double dice definitely don't do that. So don't be fooled by this stuff, okay? Here's another really great example for you of what happens if, geez, this was hit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. Yeah, it sure was. Bam, 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 just like that. But if you look here at the top of the C, let me get it up here. See how the serif ends right out here? Okay, you got the serif ending right out here, and then you got it clipped, and you got it clipped down to a point where you don't have a serif at all. That happens. It's because you're not actually creating new lettering to the field. You're just mashing down the lettering that was already there. And so you can get a screenshot of this if you can, because this is a perfect case of machine doubling. Perfect case. See right up here how you've got this doubling on the inside right here, but it doesn't even go down to the end of this, much less down here. Well, you've got 1, 2, 3, at least 4 images here. It looks like it was doubled 4 times. And that's what happens when the die comes down and it hits it, and then it hits it, hits it, or it bounces. So the die is so loose when the coin hit that it just bam, 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 bam. So that's definite eject doubling, which I've had a discussion with Paula a few times on this, that Alan Herbert, when he first went through making the terminology that we use today, there was a separation of all these different kinds of machine doubling that made sense. And it's my understanding that later to the end, he just called everything eject doubling because it all happened after the strike was complete, which is true. I mean, once you strike the coin, you've got the design in the coin. There's no reason to lift the die and hit it again. And that's exactly what happens in these cases. But to me, there is a specific difference between doubling that happens because of die bounce and doubling that happens because of an ejection. So what we just looked at is actually 2 different kinds of machine doubling together on the same coin. One of them is strike doubling, or flat field strike doubling, where the die bounces up and down, but more or less straight up and down. And then there's the other kind of doubling that happens as the coin's being scooped off the press. And the kind where it's getting scooped off the press, you end up with that peel upwards, where the die was letting loose of the coin because the design on the coin was actually pushing to the side. And that's what we call eject doubling. I appreciate everybody spending the time with me this afternoon to take a look through this 1968D roll. Looking for the big doubling, the double die reverse, looking for the FS501, RPM number 1, FS801, double die reverse number 1. And any one of the number of different double die obverses found in 1968D, most of them having to do with the motto, "In God We Trust," which a lot of times is going to be distorted because of the die overuse issue, or the hub overuse issue, where the master was way overused and ended up being too large for itself. That's kind of how that's caused. Getting a little loopy here. Don't know why. So I need to take a couple of small little tiny breaks and get a sip of coffee, I guess. But not really finding much of anything in this roll. I'm going to go ahead and finish this roll up, give it about 5 or 10 minutes, get things straightened out inside me, and then I will come back on for that one final roll we've got for today, which I believe is the 1969S roll. Because I think I did these in date mint order. I've got a 69S, I've got a 72 Philadelphia, and I've got a 1992 Denver. And I think I'm doing them in alphanumeric order, which would be the 69S would come up next. So that's going to be, I'm going to say probably about 145. We'll get into that one. That could be a very interesting roll. Oh, ship, bam. That's an RPM. That is an RPM right there. 1968D. RPM with a vertical bar inside the center of the mint mark. Nice, nice. There we go. Thomas Meadows. Good day, sir. Good day to you. Yeah, for sure. If you'd like to register to be sure that you get notifications on these live videos as they happen, send your registration to that email address. It's absolutely free. Don't charge you anything for it until you actually buy something. And all you got to do is send your email address. Who got that? Shiny Coin Guy. Shiny Coin Guy got that one. All right, here's coin number 47 for Dirty Water. So when you send that email, send your name, your real name, your YouTube username, and the email address to which I would send a PayPal invoice, should you happen to buy something. And I'll get you registered right away. And then I turn all of my registered family, our moderators on my channel. And that's because they moderate the complete idiots and bots and seek and destroy trolls who come into the channel. And it's a lot like it's a lot like coating yourself with honey and walking into a beehive. These people they come in thinking they're going to disrupt everything, and most of the time they're shut up within 3 seconds of 30-40 people catch them. We're all spread out across the room. Nobody can cause trouble. And so that's why I turn all of my registered family members into admins. You are all welcome. If there is a troll in the house, you are all welcome to ban that troll. Everybody likes to get that experience under their belt. I generally never have to touch anything while I'm doing these shows, and I don't have any trouble with trolls. So he does, well, we catch him pretty easy. Yep, absolutely, Thomas. There is a ton of stuff to learn. Ton of stuff to know. Ton of stuff to get used to. Got one last coin in this roll, then we're moving on to the next show. Next show is going to be in just a few minutes after I get a short break to catch my breath, get the next show set up, and get ready to go. I welcome everyone to come to that experience. Be sure you hit the like button on the way out, and if you're not subscribed, definitely get yourself subscribed so you can be sure to get notifications. If you hit that notification bell on any one video or on the account, you should get notification that we have a show coming up. Don't want to miss any of them. All right, that's it. Coin number 50. One and done. We got 1 RPM out of that roll. Mark, I appreciate you showing up. I appreciate you being here today. Have fun lecturing. I'll talk to you guys later. I'll be there in just a few minutes.